the most painful question that most people have to face at some point in their relationship. Should I stay or leave? This might come up a few weeks in, a few months, a few years, or maybe even 30 years. And you're wondering if you can still continue building a life with this person, if you want to continue building a life with this person. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over the 4 key questions that you have to ask yourself before making this decision. And these questions will help you feel a greater sense of clarity and serve as a positive step forward towards self-trust, no matter which way you decide to go. Now, if you're asking yourself this question and you're mired by relationship uncertainty, maybe every day you wake up unsure, like if you're going to get in some hours-long draining fight, or maybe it just feels cold and you don't even really enjoy being around your partner. Like there's so much distance, you've drifted so far apart, you're not sure how to find your way back together. It doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship is doomed, but you have to start by identifying what the unmet needs are underneath your fear, underneath your doubt, because this didn't just come out of the blue. Relationship anxiety and doubt is an accumulation of chronically unmet needs. Maybe you're really aware of what those are and maybe not. And if you're anxious or avoidant, it doesn't matter. Both of these people experience relationship doubts, but for different reasons. If you're anxious, you probably feel like you're pouring so much into the relationship. You feel exhausted, like you're doing everything. You're carrying the relationship on your back. And you're not sure how much more you have to give because you need help to carry this weight. You can't carry it all on your own. And so you're wondering, how much longer? When should I throw in the towel? And if you're avoidant, you feel trapped. You feel suffocated, like your sovereignty, your autonomy is just eroding and crumbling away. Maybe you feel like you've already lost it and your nervous system is just completely flooded. You feel overwhelmed and you're really shut down and checked out. And the thing is you're probably putting your best foot forward. You know, your partner's asking things of you and you're trying to meet them, but you're not connected with yourself enough that you can possibly truly connect with them and what they need, right? So you end up pulling away, getting defensive, blaming, putting things back on them, and you're just pushing each other away. So before you decide to leave your relationship, you need to exhaust every avenue for your own personal growth and healing. This is about personal accountability and responsibility so that you can consciously make a decision rather than unconsciously running away. It's a difference between confidently walking away from something versus frantically running. So the 4 questions that you need to ask. 1, is it physically safe? If the answer is no, this one's easy. It's a clear deal breaker. You have to leave. It's not a question of should I, it's how can I leave safely? Because safety is your priority here. Start by reaching out to a therapist or, a coach like myself. Reach out to a support group, reach out to a trusted friend. All of these are great resources. I'm also going to put in the description a hotline for you to contact if you don't feel safe in your relationship. But safety is the priority. The second question you have to ask is my relationship emotionally safe? And first off, it's like, what is emotional safety exactly? What does that constitute? It feels kind of maybe vague and nuanced, right? This is more subtle. Maybe they're really great in a lot of ways, but deep down, you don't feel like emotionally safe. Like it feels like you're walking on eggshells. You're not sure what might spiral into some big draining argument that feels completely out of your control. You don't feel safe to advocate for your feelings, your needs, and know that you'll be met with kindness, calmness, respect, and rather it's either unpredictable or you're pretty confident that it's going to be met with resistance, with accusation, criticism, attack, belittling. If your relationship looks like this, it is not emotionally safe. And there's also a clear answer. Well, a pretty clear answer. Probably leave. If they're willing to seek support with you, there's hope, right? Because this sort of thing is a skill set that can be cultivated. But if it's been going on for a long time, unless they're really invested in their own growth, it's unlikely that it's just going to change. Highly improbable, in fact. So the answer is probably leave. Question 3, do we want the same things? if you don't know what you truly want, you have to find out. That is your top priority right now. What truly matters to you most at your core? This is about your core values. A lot of people that I work with have never actually really intentionally put effort into identifying these things. And there are things like family, relationships, love, curiosity, authenticity, creativity, adventure, experience, honesty. Maybe you kind of intuitively have a sense of what you value, but get really crystal clear. Put this down on paper. Find out, because your values point to your needs. They point to what's most important to you. And this is going to help you find out what those needs are that are unmet, as to why you feel unhappy, unfulfilled, and unsure about your relationship. This is going to help frame a conversation with your partner to find out where there's overlap and where there's discrepancies. These conversations may be pretty difficult, pretty uncomfortable, because you're addressing the elephant in the room. If there are big differences around kids, around, family, around where you want to live, or lifestyle, like sobriety, these oftentimes are reasonable deal breakers, but you have to face these conversations head on. And you also have to have a prerequisite of emotional safety in order to even have these conversations. So find out and then compare and contrast with your partner. And then question 4, and this is the most important one. Have I done everything in my power to take accountability for my actions, my behavior, and my own healing? If you don't take this step, it's unlikely that just leaving the relationship is going to resolve your relationship issues, right? The things that are leading to relationship doubt will likely stem or creep up in another relationship. And sure, you could do this after you leave the relationship, but if the relationship feels important to you and it's significant, then do this before, because you can't go back to where you are right now. And you don't have to be perfectly healed and have all your stuff figured out in order to make that decision, but start and check your own story. Where do you look to blame your partner for your feelings and the fact that you feel unhappy or unfulfilled? Do you always want to point the finger at them and say, man, it's their fault that I'm feeling this way, or that I'm, really dysregulated, or that my day is crappy? They need to go to therapy. They're the problem. They just need to learn to, manage their emotions better. They're overreactive. All these things are deflecting ownership for your own feelings, your own needs. If you want your partner to go to therapy or seek help, but you're not doing that yourself, then what are you doing? If you want them to seek a support group and you're not in a group of your own, a community that's really conducive to your own growth, then what are you doing? You can't ask anything of your partner that you're not willing to do yourself. So the goal here is to become the person that you want to be in a relationship with, to lead by example, to model secure attachment, because this is actually the best way to inspire growth in your partner. It's not trying to demand them or coerce them into change, but just demonstrating that you are changing. And it's you can either come along for the ride or get left behind. And then when you do this, you'll come to a greater place of calm and ease to be able to look at your relationship objectively. And you can either choose to decide that you love your partner for who they are, flaws and all, and you can live with that. Or you can decide, hey, I love them, but I'm not unconditionally tolerant. And I need to let go if they're not willing to meet me halfway anymore. Or I need to let go if I'm doing my own work and they're still not meeting me halfway. Maybe they're still really overreactive, or they can't communicate with you. When one of you starts to grow, that will demand the other person do the same in order to keep building something together. And then if you do decide to leave, you can consciously walk away with clarity and self-trust. So to recap the 4 questions, is it physically safe? Is it emotionally safe? Do we want the same things? And have I done everything in my power to take accountability for my actions and my behavior, my own healing? And I know that you might still be feeling unsure even after answering these questions. So I want to encourage you, as you do this, to always anchor back into your body and notice what you're feeling, because your body offers a lot of insight and wisdom as well. And clarity doesn't come from more thinking. Clarity is something that is felt. Cognitively processing can help, but ultimately the truth that you're seeking comes from finding stillness, feeling into your body so that you can hear that deep inner knowing that's beneath the noise of your mind. But if you do want some additional support or resources, I will put the link to those in the description. I've got a diagnostic quiz, and you can also schedule a session anytime, and I'll help you sort through all this without shame, without pressure. But I sincerely hope that these questions are at least a starting step in the right direction back to yourself.